when?
We had this presentation yesterday, initially planned, and then Greem and Rebecca asked for. There is some talk about how to deal with, for example, sale rental, which has been around for a while already, is quite widely used, I think. And the idea for today was to get some technical talking about how to proceed further with vertical rental.
Okay.
So it's not a prepared presentation. I hope or most people who are here and interested have seen the presentation yesterday, and this one over here was just to get some talking going and maybe speed some things up in the process.
Yeah, no, it was just my question was more about not having a presentation, but presenting the discussion based on what you said yesterday, because maybe people here today didn't have the chance to watch the discussion, the presentation, and maybe you just give few words about what it's all about until we get people onboarded. But
For
it's
sure.
up to you, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm fine with this one. Yeah, so there has been some work in Germany considering the dealing with rental services in Odo. We had a demo yesterday. There are a couple of modules for that purpose who somehow all built around sale rental, which we took as a basis. And yeah, you're able to manage rentals. We've worked on different pricings and yeah, some other features, and we're about to get them into the repo one after the other. There are already 5 or 6 modules in the vertical rental repo in version 12. And the next steps, besides getting some more modules cleaned up and committed, is to yeah, besides migration to 14.15 and maybe 13 as well, talking to discuss about what to do with the sale rental module. Would be great to have Alexis Delattre here. But I don't see him, so that's
nope, it's not available.
Unfortunately, I just I wrote some comment in the PR for the migration of sale rental to version 14, where this discussion already started. So yeah, I'm not sure. I just wanted to pop this one up to maybe get some talking into this direction.
Okay.
But if there is anything,
Enrique is asking which repo is
it's in sale workflow. Sale workflow.
And I will ask a noob question. Why is there if it's related to rental?
Because rental vertical is brand new. That's the reason. And there has not been any discussion about moving it yet.
Yeah.
Or a little bit of it. So I'm not sure if it's, shall I share my screen maybe to show some GitHub or share a link?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So now you should be able to see my screen.
Yep.
Yeah, here. So at first, here's vertical rental. Reachable, as everyone should know. There's the first bunch of modules, which is already available. And
I see it's a version 12, so it's just on version 12 for now?
For now, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But there are plans for migration as well. Maybe there are some people who want to get into this. Yeah, and this one, migration to version 14 could be used to deal with sale rental as well. Here's the pull request for the migration, and yeah, there has been already some discussion about vertical rental and moving sale rental and maybe splitting functionalities as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here I see, I take the chance now. If you scroll down, I take the chance to point out what I was referring before, talking about how you can contribute. I see you added your own review, a functional review, and that's perfectly fine. So that helps. Thanks.
Yeah, I try everywhere where I get some knowledge to.
Yeah, that's the
time.
spirit. Yeah. I mean, thanks. I mean, that's exactly what we help. Especially, it's also easier to get onboarded like this. You know, to enter the mechanisms of the community. If you act like that, it's easier. I mean, that's at least my point of view. I don't know what is yours. How do you feel about this approach?
Yeah, as I from my point of view, for purely functional people, which are sometimes or well, a little bit underrepresented in the community, at least it feels like in the active part.
It is.
It's like yeah, it's we know this point. It's like you need to read the fucking manual and to get GitHub going, and yeah, it's like maybe combination or with a side influence of having some hesitations to just write things transparently in the internet. It took me a while to get into all the processes and so on and so forth. And I'm not the mostly common seen functional contributor in the community. But if you're getting used to the workflow, which is not rocket science in the end, but sometimes, yeah, it's like it depends where you're starting from. So I had some troubles in the beginning or some hesitations. Yeah, but basically that's the way to go, and it's a tool to use. So if you want to drive a car, you somehow need to get the license.
Get the driving license. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the fact is that, as far as I understand from the comments that we had before, and yeah, I mean, it's like years that I hear the same kind of comments, is they some people don't know where to get the driving license. Okay, so of course you can say read the fucking manual, but is not always nice. And above all, we recognize that on the website, yeah, you should be able to find all the information, but probably it's not presented in the right way, and this makes it harder to. It's also true, as I'd like it to stress before, that just get there and do something. It's probably easier than blocking yourself, preventing yourself to contribute because you don't know how to go ahead. So just ask if you don't know, maybe where to find things, and as you have done, for instance, just get familiar at least with GitHub. And this is not about the OCA community; it's about go find tutorials on GitHub on how to do things, and just start reviewing, and that's a start. But you see, another issue is that our community is maintained by techies, right? So for us, this is really natural, passing our day on GitHub is our daily job, and our passion also. So we're really familiar with that. So somehow we give for granted certain approaches, certain things that you can do that newcomers maybe find difficult to grasp. So
yeah, it's like I would say there's a difference between opening an issue, doing some conversation, and then making a PR. So there's some different levels of GitHub usage for sure as well. And Yeah, for maybe people who are more functional than myself, yeah, I a couple of times thought about reading a README, not really understanding how things work, then trying to figure it out, like with some code review in the best case. In the worst case, it's just like clicking in the GUI, and then you say, "Hey, now I understood the thing, and I just found, or it's like feels easy for me to add some additional lines of description to the README, and
Yeah.
for especially this purpose and people who might come up or have their qualities more in this section or this area,
Yep.
where it's easier for users to understand. I find the technical barrier a little bit too high. Maybe we will have some day together in Belgium, with some techies on a table working on a easier way to edit our README files. That would be, from my
Yeah.
point of view, lowering the barriers a lot. But if people really want, there's ways to do this now as well. So it's like, I don't want to criticize anything. It's amazing, and yeah, it's like. It's not the typical open source project. So if you want to get in, you need to get yourself going. So it's like,
Yeah, but look, I come before joining the community. I was working in the Plon community. Mike as well is a member of the Plon community, and in there it works very differently, but for many reasons. So, for instance, um, for starting, the Plone project is totally community driven. So there is no SA company behind it. So the R&D and everything, I mean, the whole system goes ahead because there are some nice people carrying it forward. There is no global headquarter taking decisions, so it's really community driven, and that's one point. And the second point that makes easier to contribute to a specific module, for instance, well, not module, a Python package, is that everything is a Python package, and one repository, one package. So this also makes easier to understand where do you go to contribute. In the Odoo ecosystem, in the Odoo community, we should have like gazillions of repositories, which is going to be a pain to maintain, and also harder to understand for many reasons. And then you have to find where things are, who you have to talk to, and stuff like that. So two different words, and with drawbacks, pros and cons. But fact is, as you said, if you want to do something, you can do that. Just try to do that. It's like get on a bicycle and start pedaling somehow.
What was the problem with editing the README? I didn't get that.
no, it's just about that, like the whole that need to know how the whole GitHub process works in order to commit a README. If you're not having a techie helping you out, that's
it's not working by just clicking on edit. I mean, you can edit the README directly in GitHub, or is there any permission in these repositories?
Yep. Well, in that case, sometimes you face the issue that, I mean, in the Odoo community, the official way to provide the documentation is not just the README, but we have the README fragments. So sometimes you edit the README instead of editing the README fragment, and that's not good. But then you're gonna get a review for that. So it's really easy actually to just click edit and modify it, and then if you do it in the wrong place, someone is going to tell you that it's been done in the wrong place, but you can already easily do that.
So
I think.
So what is the right place?
Well, it depends. If the module has a README directory, then you should do it there, because the bot is going to generate because you see, to improve the quality of the README of the module, the README is automatically generated using the README folder, which contains several files: description, configure, usage, history. I mean, depending on what you want to provide in the README, it contains several files. The most important one is description, and the rest is automatically generated. So out of the module manifest and some other information. So if you want to change the README and there is a README folder, you should edit the specific file in the README folder and not the README, which is going to be overridden as soon as the bot goes there.
If we have if we have a README to how to change the README, we could just have a link how to do that, how to change.
I think it's
that.
written somewhere, but as I said before, I mean, if you want
I
to
mean, a
contribute to the README,
direct link from every README could have just like the normal logos and whatever, a direct link to change me. Like, you know, in some documentations, you have to change me on GitHub or whatever.
but it's not that easy.
Just pointing on a small text where it's okay. If you want to change this README, this is how it goes. Because it's not just a README, maybe it's the
You should,
smaller
but you should
pieces.
include it by section. You should have on every README. You should have, because if you look at the README, is auto-generated, automatically generated. So you should have do different links for doing the same thing. One link
I mean,
pointing to the configure, and one link pointing to the description, one link pointing to usage.
No, I mean, I don't mean, I mean, that would be perfect if you just have like an edit and it works. But the easy way to start would be when you have what you just said. This is how it works. There's a folder, you have the files, and when you want to edit something, find the right piece and edit it there. This information could be written down and just with a short link mentioned on every README, so that when I look at the README, there's something to notice, and then I just read it up, and then I know how to do it. But that's a simple way because it's just a link on every README pointing to a short documentation how to do it.
Yeah.
But the READMEs are mostly fine for many projects and many modules. What I'm still a bit missing is this overview. So like use cases, for example, because as you said, you have inside one repository, you have like tons of modules sometimes, and some of them are just like personal taste for some scenarios. So not all of the modules you want. Some go well together. Some are like excluding themselves or whatever. But to know that, you have to really understand all the modules and spend a lot of time in one repository to get the grasp how this works together. There would be good if at least the idea how things work together, like a good known set, let's say, would be like summarized, or we should find a place where this summarization could be. When I spend the time to figure out how, let's say, field services works for different use cases, I would like to put this knowledge somewhere that not everybody has to spend like days until they decide if they can use that or not, because sometimes it's just not working for your use case, even though it looks like.
Yeah, let me see. Well, I'm looking for the description of documentation of this.
I mean, what helps a lot, at least with installing, is when you have like dependencies between modules. Since we have this now as Python packages, everything else is just insane. Going by GitHub modules and then trying it out and finding out, oh, there's another module missing. This takes days. This is not how I want to work. But yeah, still because everything is so small, so atomic. It's not like bigger modules. It's for a specific reason. Everything is really tiny. Like if it's just one model field and one checkbox in a view, sometimes, yeah, you can get lost even inside one repository, and we have hundreds of them.
Yeah, no, well, pip install helps definitely.
Yeah, but
If you know what to install.
and first of all, if you're not very experienced with one repository or one use case, you have to find out if that's feasible. Yeah, or is it doable in the time you have for the project, for the ideas? I mean, you have your ideas, your use cases,
Yeah.
and you try to find out if there's something existing. And I think there are a lot of double work out there because you simply don't have the time to fully understand how 50 modules work together and compose what you actually want to build.
Yeah.
Because you also don't know if that time is well spent. You might as well spend several days to figure out I really cannot use it because it's way too complex. I just need something else. And this kind of this kinds of experience, I think we should better share, and somehow maybe some use cases and recommendations. What modules make sense to start from and things like that. This would be really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, again, requires time, and actually, everyone is encouraged to write, blog posts or even if you want to extend the documentation of the repository, writing down which modules you could use, you can do that. So, but again, it's something that requires time for sure.
But
so, just one second. Yeah, sorry, Mike. No, because it's like the time is over, and it's not just because of this, but because I have my talk in a while after lunch, and I want to have some food before lunch. Let me check if there's anyone that can take it over. Otherwise, we should close this place. So, Ben, sorry for hijacking the discussion and going back to how to contribute. But I was checking the chat, and I didn't see any question regarding vertical rental. So probably we can.
I'm interested in like I'm working for not a hotel directly, but kind of a health center, and I wonder I think one of your modules could be used for renting out the rooms, because you can rent out like specific products. Do I understand that correctly, Ben?
I think so. It's mainly about physical products who can be moved. So I think the hotel and room booking stuff, there is a lot of let's say specific requirements to bring this up, and I think there's at least I think I remember something, a project which has been done for a hotel-like setting in Spain. Am I? There's something I remember. So there has been some communication. So I think booking of rooms has been solved in other modules already, or there was this booking in terms of COVID response. I saw a talk that sounded a little bit like this as well. So I'm not sure that what we did is really suitable for the booking of a room need, from my point of view.
There's also a vertical hotel repository. Maybe that's fitting.
Okay, shall we go for the lunch break? And then we meet again after lunch. Well, I'll be in the other room giving my talk. So I guess because we still have space for discussion this afternoon. So you can also, what is it? Let me check. It has been filled? No. Yeah. Yeah, you can still discuss at 1:50 if you want. There's an open discussion on what to do version, and there is also another slot on 2:40 p.m. So you can keep discussing about this if you want on the vertical rental. Okay. So thanks Ben, thanks Mike, thanks Henrik for the discussion, and yeah, see you later. And have lunch.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy your meal.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Bye, Simon.
Ben, did you see my post on the German group on Discord? Just to mention that I would like to have like a session just
one word, guys. I mean, if you want to stay here and keep discussing, you can do that. Just bear in mind that everything is registered and live streaming on YouTube is on. So feel free to discuss, but don't.
Hello world.
We will just make fun of you.
Great. That's
Never.
awesome. Bye.
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 But we can switch to Discord as well. Fine with me. Is there anyone here who still wants to talk about rental in some manner? Raise your hands now.
Or be silent forever.
Okay, so everyone else is already waiting for the next talk. Yeah, then I would say goodbye over here as well, and yeah, jump to Discord and have a look what's going on there.